You know what the best part about an all-American pickup video is? When you actually have some all-American pickups. Hey everybody, Alex here, and welcome to an all-American pickup video. The lighting is a little more wonky than normal today. I do have this thing on, but I actually literally just had a light bulb die on me just as I turned on the camera, and I'm just like, fuck this noise. I'm not getting out a ladder and all this crap. So, before we get into the full All-American pickups, I do have to give a huge thank you to my boy, Manboy Cave. I helped him out getting something, which he already showcased in a pickup video of his own. And he paid me for getting it over to him, but he, in his infinite, I guess you could say, selflessness and generosity, decided to gift me a few things, which, again, you didn't have to do it. But he did get me one of the Astrobot plushies as one thing, but in addition to that, he also got me a box complete copy of Super Mario Land 2 and the 6 Golden Coins, which I said in one of my 4 years, 4 games, 4 quarters videos, I would love to have boxed and complete. And he went and did that, and more than the damn controller. But again, you did not need to do that. I loved this game when I played it this year, and reliving those memories was great. And now, having this box complete, I actually have it up on my inspirational shelf of games of like favorite series and games that I have. One day I'll do a video on it. But on to the rest of the All-American pickups. We have some retro stuff, believe it or not, and I'm using retro a little bit loosely because they're technically re-releases. We have the retro bit, I guess you could say, remake of King of Demons on the Super Nintendo. So, King of Demons was originally an import exclusive way back in the day, and it was a recommendation from Pete Dorr, and I've actually beaten this game before. But I never actually owned it. I had a reproduction cart, which I got rid of because I decided I'm just not dealing with reproduction carts anymore in that gray area of legality. But Retrobit was like, hey, we got the license, we're making a legit version of it. So I said, sure. And unlike Limited Run, as I struggle with this bag, they actually give you a hard case. They give you like one of the box protectors to go with it. And as I alluded to, Limited Run, I got the re-release of Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel. This is a box protector I got for it. So Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel is like a sequel spin-off of Arrow the Acrobat from Sunsoft. So if you've ever played those games, which I did growing up, this was kind of like one of those, is it a good game, particularly Kamikaze Squirrel? Not really. But between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, you actually have the same game but slightly different. I always preferred the Super Nintendo version, to be completely honest. And I do have it on the Evercade, and I mentioned it in that pickup video. I bought it on the Evercade, not realizing I had ordered this. But considering I played this growing up and rented it from Blockbuster, I feel like it kind of makes sense that I'd want to hang on to this one. And then the last of the retro-ish stuff is a copy of Ridge Racer 3D. Truthfully, I love the Ridge Racer games. I love arcade racers. Forza Horizon is my jam. But for whatever reason, I've always wanted this, and I've always wanted Ridge Racer on the Vita. Both of these, for whatever reason, hold value. And finally, through the graciousness of Sid Cooper and his store Double Jump Video Games, I subscribed to their newsletter and I got like a 5% off, and they had some sale going on at the time, and they happened to have this box complete, and he mentioned in a video the sales stack if you have a discount code. So I did that, and I literally got this for under $20 because I've never seen it for less than pushing 30. Even a PAL version, because my 3DS is modified, so region to me just doesn't matter at this point. But I always wanted it NTSC, and through sorcery, I've played this game quite a bit, but per my rule, I like to physically own these things, or at least legitimately own them. And then following up to that, along with everybody else, I did get the Astrobot controller, and as of this recording, Sony has decided to announce their 30th anniversary controller, and I am like, motherfucker, because I totally would have bought that instead, just by the pure nostalgia alone. And to go with that, I did pick up a copy of Astrobot, which is sealed because my wife called dibs on it, and I literally asked her before filming this video. Like, I asked her last night, rather. Oh, so how's Astrobot going? Because I, kept myself in the dark because I wanted to be surprised. And she goes, oh, I haven't even opened up the wrap yet. This is going to take a minute. All right. More PS5 and 4 stuff. Gundam Breaker 4. A bunch of you guys already know I've been obsessed with this game. As of this recording, spoiler, I finished it. If you have never played a Gundam Breaker game, and you see New Gundam Breaker, ignore it. If you see Gundam Breaker 3 Complete Edition or Ultimate Break Edition, whatever it is, you can buy that. That one's okay. Gundam Breaker is essentially Diablo, but with Gundams, and a Saturday morning cartoon plot. In this one, basically, Breaker, or as they call it, GGGGG, get it? 4Gs. Is an online MMO style game where people basically build Gunpla, like the models, and they create these custom Gundams and they battle in suppression missions. I believe there was one escort mission. Thank God there was not more than one, but mostly suppression, mostly capture and hold, stuff like that. Kind of more like a competitive MMO thing, and basically you can make clans and all this other stuff. And it follows you as a protagonist, a silent protagonist, who is a new player who makes a bunch of friends and uncovers this huge earth-shattering plot within the MMO itself where bad people are trying to hack the system. And a bunch of high school kids ultimately save the day with the help of friends and family. It is so cheesy. It is akin to Gundam Age. But if you are a Gundam fan, the real benefit to this game, within that looter mechanic that Diablo games and the ilk are, associated with, is that they're infinitely customizable. You can make any Gundam you want. You can combine different Gundams. You can make them look as ridiculous as you want. You want a bear guy head? Go for it. Or if you're like me and you basically just wanted to create a Gundam Lupus Rex, you could do that too. But then you could combine it with an RX-78 and all this other stuff. It's really addictive, especially since later on in the game, if you find a particular look you really like, you can just basically melt other Gundam pieces into one and just boost it up. So you can stay with a static appearance the whole time, and you can also repaint your Gundam, you can weather it, you can make it look metallic, you can give it wraps, you can do whatever you want pretty much. The customization is endless. But the one thing that they did in this one, which I don't recall being in the other ones, is there are options, right? And options are basically like a combination of parts that you can, what's the word? You can basically have as an aesthetic, or it gives you like a little boost somewhere or something along those lines. So some of them, like if you have wings, from Gundam Wing, they just are there. But if you have fin funnels, you can actually use them as fin funnels. And if you don't know Gundam, none of this will make any sense to any of you, but rest assured it is really cool. And you can also bend and stretch stuff, so you can use SD, which is Super Deformed Gundam stuff, on full-blown Gundam stuff as well. So they really went above and beyond after the screw-up from New Gundam Breaker. But I'm going to talk about that way too much. Moving on, we have Scarlet Emerald Grace. Saga Emerald Beyond. Wow, I literally combined two Saga games together. Haven't popped this one in yet, but I'm a big fan of the Saga games, and it's one of those series where if you like open-ended, obtuse nonsense, you'll like it. But if you go in there expecting more of like a straightforward JRPG, you're not really going to dig it as much. These newer entries tend to give you several storylines with like a little bit of a abbreviated sort of thing. Think like Live a Live. But this one everyone says is pretty good in particular. Also, look what finally fucking decided to come out. Eschatos on the PS4. This is a shooter I played way back in the day on the Xbox. It is as traditional as they come. It is painfully difficult. At this point, it's been re-released on everything in strictly limited Finally got this in after having it on pre-order for like 3.5 years. Usually I get my shmups on the Switch. For whatever reason, I decided to get this one on the PS4, and I think that's because I already had it digitally on the Switch. But as these things go, after all this wait, guess what? We got some damage there. And it's on the cover art, it's not just on the wrap. Luckily, this is a game I actually want to keep, so I won't be selling it at all, but that is really annoying considering that amount of time spent. We also have Lost Epic. This released digitally some time ago. It's kind of like a Valkyrie profile side-scrolling action RPG thing. We also have Witch Spring R, which some people tell me is a remake of the original Witch Spring, which came out on Switch some time ago, and some people tell me it's a new entry. This has been out on Steam for a bit. It's kind of like an action RPG Atelier, more leaning on the action part, so this looked very interesting to me. And a recommendation from my boy Rilui, because he said, and I quote, "I think based on the way that the characters act in this game, you would like it." I personally felt offended when he recommended Forspoken to me, and I think it's because of the potty mouth stuff. I don't fucking talk bad. Okay, that was a really bad joke. I apologize. Anyway, got this for $11. I originally saw it on clearance at Best Buy. I price matched it, and then eStar Land had it for $11, so I just got it there along with some other stuff for free shipping. Moving along. Limited Run finally decided to send stuff out, and the irony of it is I, for whatever reason, somehow ended up with the PAX exclusive, the convention exclusive versions, even though I ordered the regular ones. I don't know. Arzette, which is kind of like a newer age of the Zelda CDI games. Everybody's been singing praises about it. Felix the Cat, a very overpriced NES Game Boy game as well, side-scrolling platformer. I rented this as a kid, and I really liked it, but I never actually went about buying it at the time, and even now as an adult, it's just, yeah, forget it. And Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked. Love the original Rocket Knight to death. I played that so much as a kid. I never played the rest of them, though, ironically. I think at that time is when I really started to get into like the Super Nintendo era of RPGs and whatnot, and platformers to me were just seen as kiddie nonsense. Now, moving along, let's do these. Also from Super Rare Games, picked up a copy of Cavern of Dreams. This is kind of like a N64 style open world 3D platformer. I really got this from my wife. I showed her gameplay and she was like, "Ooh, it looks like the N64 I wanted," so I had to get it. Also grabbed a copy of Cassette Beast, which is a Pokemon style game, and as of this recording, looks like Panel World is in some trouble. But Cassette Beast, from everybody who's played it and has told me, like, there's enough retro 90s throwback stuff in there combined with the Pokemon bit, and the battling is really good, and it actually performs well on the Switch now, that it makes sense to pick it up on the Switch. Because upon release, as we're beginning to see Nintendo's 10-year-old hardware, it just ain't cutting it anymore. And it's really annoying considering I look at all these pickups and a majority of them are for the Switch. All right, Shadow of the Ninja. This is one of these new remake, remastery things. Shadow of the Ninja originally came out on the Game Boy and the Nintendo. I used to have it on the Nintendo, and I played it quite a bit there, but I never finished it. It's one of those old Natsume side-scrolling action games, and it was really, really good, very responsive. I know it got like a retro re-release some time ago on both the Game Boy and the Nintendo. Never picked it up just because I thought it was too expensive. And then I think this is In Games that did this. Decided to put out physical, but I went with the Japanese version just because it was less expensive. And I didn't even realize this. Published by Sega. Go fig. Go fig. Dead School. This was on Ultra Liquidation clearance at PlayAsia. This is kind of like a Metroid style. You can put two and two together. I don't even need to say it. It's a cultured game. Now this was interesting. I didn't realize this was coming with a slipcase. This is the IGS Classic Arcade Collection. This has been available on the Switch for some time, And yeah, I always thought like for $30, that's way too expensive for the games that are included in here. But then they said there was a physical release, so I was like, okay, that makes more sense. So this actually contains 8 different, I think it's 8 beat 'em ups or it's 7 beat 'em ups and 1 side-scrolling action game. We have Knights of Valor, we have Knights of Valor Plus, we have Knights of Valor 2, we have Oriental Legend, we have Oriental Legend Spooky. Some of these names, man, this shit does not fly in the year 2024 and on. Martial Arts Masters, Demon Front, and The Gladiator, and it supports up to 4 people online. Really cool. If I remember right, I think a handful of these games actually never came stateside. And it came with Joy-Con stickers, which I will not use. But I was actually really interested when I saw it, because I love beat-em-up games, truthfully. So, Planetarian, this is a VN. I don't need to explain these things to you. This has been available digitally on the Switch for a minute. I believe there's 2 in this physical release, and it was budgetary price, so had to go with that. Also, Video Games Plus was putting out, and I finally got a copy of the Cosmic Fantasy Collection, which was done by Idea, and as it does not have the working designs localization for a Cosmic Fantasy 2, unfortunately, but hey, we're getting them. That's how I see it, because Johnny's been talking about them for how many years, and I just never, ever, ever get to them. Gold Archive Collection from Inti Creates. This has Mighty Gunvolt Burst, and Pori Puzzle Mix, which I think is a new game. Mighty Gunvolt and Mighty Gunvolt Burst were, I guess you could say, spin-off games during that whole Mighty Number 9 thing, but Inti Creates made it, so you know it's actually good. They were originally on the 3DS, and I think Burst was originally on the Switch via Limited Run, or both were via Limited Run, if I recall. Either way, got rid of both, and I just got this, and I basically got it for free and that made some money on top of it. This I can't. Gunvein from NG Dev Team. I pre-ordered this like back in. Sorry, I had to lubricate my brain. Like back in, I want to say during the pandemic. I don't even remember. Here we are 4 years later, and it finally came out. This is, if you've played any NG Dev Team game, you already know this is like a Neo Geo arcade classic. Not made by Neo Geo. And right now I think it's available digitally for $19.95, which I think is a joke, obviously. I haven't even played it. I just love their stuff, and I'm afraid to open this considering I waited like 5 years for it. And I literally just got a shipping notification saying shipped, and I was like, this is sorcery and magic. This cannot be real. Additionally to that, Risk System on the Switch. This is from VGMY, and East Asia Soft helped put them out. This has been on Steam, and I have played on Steam. This is a really interesting side-scrolling shmup. The idea, it's in the name, Risk System. Basically, the riskier and the closer you get to bullets, the more powerful you get. A bunch of them have done mechanics like that before. I really enjoy it because it keeps me from just turtling in the corner and just sitting over there, because something will fly out from behind me if I don't pay attention. But it's really good. The Bitmap Bureau Collection. This contains Xenocrisis, Battle Axe, and Final Vendetta. I had all 3 of these physically. I parted ways with all 3 of them. I made a ton of money, and I got this collection here, and it's NTSC. Beautiful! Citizen Sleeper. Best Buy had a buy 2 get 1 thing on Switch games. You'll see 2 more of them in here. This was the freebie. A, because I couldn't figure out what to get, and B, I was always interested in this game, but every time I watch gameplay, it's like enough of a role-playing visual novel thing where I realize I have to play it to actually know if I'm going to like it. And this is mostly menu-driven. So I will not know until I physically pop this in if I will like it. People say on the Switch it does, once again, have some frame dips, but you're just navigating menus. So it's not like terrible, it's a little clunky. The Doink Soft Collection. I gotta be honest, I am like so disinterested in Devolver Digital stuff at this point. Their whole thing was not strictly limited, Special Reserve. Yeah, I came prepared today. Kind of fell through. They realized this whole like limited release market thing is oversaturated and it's not sustainable anymore. So everything that I had previously ordered, with the exception of Gumbrella, from them with exclusivity has now gone retail. And then to add insult to injury, they make a compilation. Got rid of those. Got the compilation. Anything from Devolver Digital, I'm sorry, I'm not supporting it day one at this point. I get it's business. I'm being salty. I totally understand that. Ultra Liquidation Clearance, that's the only way for me to go with them at this point. And then the other one I got was Euphoria 2. Everybody's been talking about this. Some people say this is a great return to the NES style of gameplay, but with a modern aesthetic, and some people say it's a clunky piece of shit. I will pass judgment once I get to it, which will probably be never, I think. Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. I had this on the Vita, then it got re-released on the PS4, got rid of the Vita version, got on the PS4, got a Steam Deck, got on the Steam Deck, got rid of the PS4 version. Now here we are on the Switch version with the new localization, and I watched a comparison, and the new localization is a lot better, and unfortunately Axis says they're not going back to the Steam version to update the localization. It's not that it was bad, some stuff was a little too literal, and some stuff, and from a grammatical sense, basically sounded like a robot did it. But this, everybody says, is like budget ease. Or budget trails, or a combination of two trails or something like that. But allegedly there's going to be a new Tokyo Xanadu, but they're going to put it in Kyoto. So I'm kind of interested to see that. And this I blame on Jordan from Switchwatch. He totally sold me on getting Jean-Yon Sword Mist Beyond the Mountains. It's a very old school retro RPG. And Serenity Forge put this one out. I only watched enough gameplay to be like, ooh, okay, so this is like a 1632-bit RPG. It looks a little bit like Suikoden. I'm in. And that was pretty much the end of it for me. And then Tales from Toyotoki. You know me and my VNs. I'm sorry. This one is about witches and magic. And that's all I'm going to say because it's a VN and you can't spoil it. Last bit here, and then we're getting the fuck out of here. Some of these are very obvious. Captain Velvet Meteor. This is a strategy RPG. This has been out for a bit, but Red Arc Games finally put out the physical release. And the irony is, when I originally played this shortly, it was only because I knew who Saber was from Fate Stay Night. And since then, I've watched Kaiju Number 9, as well as a bunch of other of the characters represented here. So now I'm like, okay, cool. I can actually enjoy more of this game now since I know who's who. Read Only Memories, Neurodiver. This is the sequel to 2064 Read Only Memories. I went with the Japanese version because it's literally $30 less. I really enjoyed 2064. It's kind of like a Snatcher. It's a lot more about accessibility in terms of a person's belief in themselves and how they view themselves. All that stuff is great. But I don't know if they continued it in this one. I know that I think their founder got caught in some sort of misconduct stuff. So I don't know how involved they were with the writing on this one, or if it's a completely new team altogether. It is the same developer though, which I think is Mid-Boss Studios. So, but I don't know if the original writers or anything are involved with it. I just enjoyed it enough that I want to get more of that world. Dave the Diver. I'm going completely blind on this one. Everybody tells me it's like Restaurant Sim combined with a Metroid style game. So yeah, that's all I know. I am literally going completely blind on this one. Tsukihime, and oh boy, here we go. Piece of Blue Glass Moon. Another visual novel. This is one of Type Moon's best visual novels from what everybody tells me, and this was a dream localization of so many fans of the series, and we finally have it. I went with the Japanese version because, truthfully, I have so many stupid editions at this point, and I just want to get rid of them. This was also like $30 less via PlayAsia. But I had to wait for it, and it's not something I was going to play immediately because I was too busy playing Emio the Smiling Man, which I have finished. Wow. If you are looking to get into visual novels, this is a great place to start because it leans more into point and click. Art style is phenomenal. Writing is great. The mystery is actually really good. I figured it out maybe towards the 60-65% mark. But what's really great about this is when the game ends, as these things go, they explain how this all went down. Watch past the credits. It gives you an option for an epilogue. Just do it. That was just do it. I don't like to spoil things, but it was a great anime. That is all I'm going to say. This game is phenomenal. This is the first Famicom detective game I've played. And unfortunately, I've already read that the remakes, while they are really good, they definitely took what they did in the original ones, applied it to MEO, and modernized it even more to make it more accessible for folks. So going back is a little jarring. But, oh my god, Nintendo knocked it out of the park with this one. This is so fucking good. I would say it's very breezy. It's not long. It's like 15 hours. All killer, no filler. The chapters flow by very quick. Think of it like, if this was an OVA anime, I would have watched it in a day. I would have binged it. It's that freaking good. And there you go. We did this a little quick because I gotta go back to work. I've been Alex, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.